The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your SuperChats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
SNY Jets analyst Connor Rogers explained a brutal reality about Aaron Glenn's first year with the Jets. Plus, let Brady cook. Brady Cook will start again, this time against the Saints on Sunday. We will talk about that and much more. Jeff Parles will join us. Let's hit it and get it started.
Time to lose some games, bitches. You guys should be pros at this. They don't give out trophies for 4 or 5 wins.
A new chapter for the Jets has started. Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji are tasked with shaping the future of this franchise. Will they be the ones to finally get it right? We will be here for every step of the journey on the Jake Asman Show, breaking down all the storylines, every game, and everything in between. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super Chats, baby. Cut the line. The Jake Asman Show starts right now.
Here we go. Show number 2 on the day. It is Hump Day. Welcome in, everybody. We're presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. Click the like button. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. And a reminder, end of this show, we're going to give away a signed Joe Klecko helmet. So make sure you enter before we spin the wheel at the very end. With that, we say hello to our good friend out in the desert. It's our guy, Jeff Parles. Jeff, you're rocking the Mizzou hoodie, and it's fitting because Aaron Glenn made it official earlier. Let Brady cook. He will start Sunday against the Saints. How we feeling?
I love the Tyrod Taylor or Justin Fields will be QB two. Why don't we just merge them together and let them be one massive QB2 together, Jim? It'd be like Vincent Adult Man for people that watched BoJack Horseman back in the day. The only move, right? The only move that makes sense. I thought Brady was okay last week. I know he threw 3 picks. The only one that I was really bad was the one in the end zone, but the fact that they finally cut Alan Lazard makes me think Lazard ran the wrong route. So, and that might have been the final straw. But look, it's the only decision. We know Tyrod Taylor and Justin Fields are not going to be on this roster next year. Let's see if Brady's worth being QB2 potentially next year. So far, the early returns are kind of what you would expect out of an undrafted free agent. Not particularly good, but I didn't think he was that bad last week. I thought he played fine until the game got completely out of control.
Yeah, look, when you put him in a spot where he's going to have to score 30-plus points to have a chance because the Jets defense is the worst unit ever, you're not going to win with Brady Cook. So I'm with you. Let's see why. Let's see him get another start here. And again, he played well enough in these 2 outings that we've seen him in where he's better than Luke Falk. He's better than Tim Boyle, right? Like, you're not disgracing the rest of the team by letting Cook start this game and hopefully the final 2 against New England and Buffalo.
Jake, he absolutely should be the starter the rest of the year. There's no argument in my brain. Like, let him play. Let's see what you got. Like, he's not, let's put it this way, Jake. He's not going to be the Jets week 1 starter next year. We know this. Anyone with a brain knows this. But you want to see if you can get a QB2 on the cheap that's actually competent and can keep you in games. Look, you're right. Like, the Jets gave up 48 points last week. A lot of weeks in the past, 20 points would have been enough to win the game for this team. So, I thought he was fine. He's looked like a UDFA at times, but you have to see if this kid is actually a potential backup quarterback for you moving forward behind, hopefully, a rookie starting quarterback next year. But we'll see, Jay.
Comments, questions, super chats, they always cut the line. Brady Cook has not changed the line for Sunday, Jeff. Here's your look according to FanDuel at the Jets and the Saints here. It's holding steady at 4.5. Is this about right? I mean, you're the betting guru here. Your thoughts on the Jets as a 4.5-point underdog against New Orleans?
I think the Jets will lose on Sunday also, Jake. I was all over that Jacksonville was going to run them out of the building last week. And quite honestly, it was actually worse than I thought it was going to be, which is saying something. Look, 4.5 feels steep because New Orleans has been a favorite one time. Actually, yeah, New Orleans has been a favorite one time this year. It was against the Giants, Jake. That's the only time they were favored. And now they're north of a field goal. That feels like a lot to be laying with New Orleans, but I'm not interested in taking the Jets. The only thing that I'm curious on, Jake, because we've talked about plenty in the past, even though the Jets did not experience this last year, the fired head coach bump. We usually see that in this league. Does the Jet defense get a bump from Steve Wilkes not being there anymore?
Do they get an interception?
It would make total sense if Shuck's first or second throw is a pick. Like, it would totally make sense. Or if the Jets just out of nowhere pick Shuck off 3 times. Like, they finally learned how to catch a football after not catching it the whole year. So, look, I'm in the camp of the Jets will lose. I do think this will be a field goal game, though, Jake. I just don't trust New Orleans to win by more than a touchdown. So, yeah, the Jets probably or win more than a field goal or 4. And you're getting 4.5. Yeah, I would only take the Jets plus the points, but I think the Saints win the game.
How about that? Jeff is saying take the Jets getting some points. Look, it'd be too easy
Hold
for the Jets.
on. Let's clarify. Take the points. Do not take the money line. Take the points. Do not take the money. That is very critical here.
Let's also be real. This is the game in the Jets' history they typically win, right? Like Bryce Petty against Niners. Trevor Siemian winning 2 of his last 3 starts in 2023. Like, this is the kind of game you could see the Jets winning, which is why they can't win this game. They need to finish 3-14 to make it as easy as possible to potentially get one of these quarterbacks, most likely the guy they would want, you would think, is Fernando Mendoza. They're going to need some help. They need the team in your neck of the woods to actually win a game. Maybe they could beat the Giants. Maybe they could beat the Chiefs. Yeah, but like the Jets are so bad in their history at like completing the tank, but this is the last game I'm truly worried about because I don't see them having any shot against New England or Buffalo.
They will get absolutely clobbered by Buffalo. Even if it's Trubisky, they're going to get clobbered in that game. It's potentially the final game in that stadium history. They're going to get clocked in that game. New England, I think they'll actually hang in, kind of like that Thursday game where they hung in, but just got such bad quarterback play other than the opening drive that they weren't able to. I don't think they get blown out by New England, but they'll lose. They're not gonna pull the upset. So yeah, I mean, we kind of circled this game against New Orleans as the one game in December that we felt pretty good about them winning going into the year, Jake. Like, we thought, all right, probably a slow start, but yeah, you could beat Miami, beat Jacksonville. We didn't know Jacksonville was going to be this good. You should be able to beat New Orleans. But I will say that stupid Atlanta game right now is the difference between the Jets being at the top and being where they are. But I really do think they lose. New Orleans just totally wrecked up the NFC South race. They beat Tampa and Carolina back-to-back weeks, Jake.
Yeah, I mean, look, New Orleans is kind of playing like how we thought the Jets would play right around this time. Like,
agreed, 100% agree with that.
Showing improvement, young quarterback. The Jets don't have a young quarterback. I guess Brady Cook. You know what I mean? Like seeing real player development.
Like Jake, maybe by now, like going into the year, it's like, all right, you know what? The Jets are improving. Justin Fields is making it look like that. All right, maybe we can go stopgap for a second season with him, and obviously none of that has happened. So
nope. So Aaron Glenn in year 1, right? That's been the big topic on the show today. We'll get to what Mike Florio said that I vehemently disagree with in just a bit. But this was Connor Rogers, who is on the Jets pre and post on SNY. Good friend of the show, does the podcast Badlands with Joe Caporoso. I think those two are very good at analyzing the Jets. Connor said this on his podcast last night. I want to play it for you and have you answer the question he was asking Joe.
A lot can change in such a short time with not only a quarterback, but a better roster and a roster that fits what they want to do schematically. But you do at some point have to sit and be honest with yourself at this point of the year and go, did Aaron Glenn do anything in year 1 to earn my confidence as a supporter of the New York Jets? I mean, is that fair or not fair to ask?
Jeff, has Aaron Glenn done anything in year 1 to earn your confidence in him?
No, not at all. Not at all, my friend. And we've had this conversation a few times already of if the Jets bottom out and end up with the opportunity to get the rookie quarterback, and they're going to have a darn good chance of that happening at this point, because I think they're going to be picking. I don't think they're going to be picking any lower than 5 at this rate. Has the team shown improvement? They did for about 3 weeks, and now these last 2 weeks have been a complete abomination. Complete abomination, especially with the news that the Dolphins are benching Tua for Quinn Ewers. Complete abomination the last 2 weeks against Miami and Jacksonville. Is Aaron Glenn the guy you want coaching the team with a rookie quarterback? And quite frankly, Jake, is Aaron Glenn the guy you want coaching the team moving forward if your roster is more likely than not going to be offensive first, which is what I've been saying for 2 months now, ever since the trade deadline, ever since they traded Sauce, which, by the way, that trade might end up being better than the Jamal Adams trade when it's all said and done, and trading Quinnen at the deadline. You have to build this out offense first. And Aaron Glenn is not the right coach for offense first. Now, look, Engstrand, I actually thought Engstrand called a pretty good game last week. Now, granted, you're down, you had no chance, but there have been glimpses at least showing to me that Engstrand can be a solid NFL offensive coordinator. But Aaron Glenn has shown me nothing that he can be a solid NFL head coach. Now, just curious, because here's the other weird thing with this year. Jake, this year has been so bizarre from a bad team perspective, right? Because they've done some things that well-coached teams do. Like, they are awesome on special teams. They are having one of the best, forget Jet history. They're having one of the best special teams years in NFL history. And that normally does not happen on poorly coached teams. So it's such a bizarre dichotomy because the defenses look unprepared to play most of the year. The offense has been mostly terrible, but that's mostly the quarterback play. But they have a unit that's actually high end, which normally when you have a bad team, you have bad depth. Your special team suffers. That hasn't happened with this team. So if you want to point to something like, all right, Aaron Glenn, all right, maybe there's something there. It's that he actually does have one phase of the game has been elite this year with a roster that normally would be conducive to really bad special teams, Jake. So if you're looking, I know I'm going devil's advocate of my own take here, but if you're looking at the positives from this year, boy, if Nick Folk comes back and repeats what he did, I think it's clear he's a good punter. That's not going to change. You make sure you have Williams back on this roster. You make sure you have Wongwu back on this roster as your kick returners and punt returners. You have a chance to be really good on special teams again as the rest of your roster gets better. That gives you a chance to start winning these fringe games that the Jets, quite frankly, Jake, if the Jets had the special teams this year, they had this year, last year, they might have backdoored their way into the playoffs last year, even with all the issues they had, because their kicking game was dreadful last year, other than Morstead. So, yeah, look, that is, if you're looking for a glimmer of hope, it's that Aaron Glenn is the head coach of a team with an elite unit on it, because there's no arguing that the special teams, they've been elite. There's no arguing that fact. Every number, every DVOA stat, every sabermetric, every normal NFL fan stat, everything backs up that the special teams has been elite.
Look, give Chris Banjo a lot of credit. Glenn gets credit for hiring him. Mike Westhoff recommended him to Glenn, and Glenn took him up on the recommendation. But again, I don't think they're going to fire Aaron Glenn, but let's play it out for a moment. Hypothetically, you could keep Chris Banjo and fire Aaron Glenn. I mean, look how long Brant Boyer was on the Jet coaching staff under Bowles, Gase, and Saleh. So I'm with you. The special teams is elite, but if that's the only thing we could point to, that's what's so concerning, man. Half their games this year, they really have been uncompetitive. They've been getting worse now late in the year when they should be getting better, like a team like the Saints is, right? He hired Wilkes. That's a disaster. They just anointed Fields as the starter, gave him $30 million guaranteed, said he's never been coached properly, and now Justin Fields is benched and has never played worse. Not that he was ever good, but he's never been this bad. It's concerning, man. The Jets have only lost 14 games twice in their history, and that was with Kotite and Gase. And that's how Aaron Glenn is starting off year one. So I understand why Jet fans don't have a whole lot of confidence in him, because we haven't seen much.
And Jake, I'm not disagreeing with you at all. I'm still in the camp that Aaron Glenn is the wrong coach to move forward with when you have to build, especially when realistically speaking, you have to build this out offense first.
Yep.
Like realistically speaking, you have to do it that way because Jake, more likely than not, the Jets are going to end up with either Fernando Mendoza or Dante Moore in this draft. They're going to end up more likely than not with one of the two of those guys because the Giants and the Titans are not taking a quarterback, and I think Cleveland's going to win one of their last 3 games. So the Jets will end up in the top 4. And I don't think the Giants are going to move out. And I don't know what Tennessee is going to do. By the way, that Raider-Giant game, Jake, as bad as the Jets are, I don't know how the hell the Raiders have become as awful as they are. Like, that game's here in Vegas. I would make the Giants like a 4-point favorite in that game against the Raiders. That's how bad it has gotten now for Vegas. So, look, there you go. Here's the weird thing. This is why this game's also critical this week, Jake, to lose from a draft perspective. New Orleans plays Tennessee next week. In an ideal world, Jake, the Jets lose to New Orleans this week, lose out, and the Titans beat New Orleans next week. And then all of a sudden, you're in a scenario where you could actually end up picking better than Tennessee because Tennessee's got a good strength of schedule this year. So, look, the number 1 pick's not out of play yet. It's not because the Giants are more than stupid enough to win 2 out of their last 3, and I don't think they're as bad as their record shows. The big issue is that the Raiders are just so
bad. Oh,
they are so bad. It's impossible. Like, look, the Jets were embarrassing on defense the last 2 weeks, and those performances pale in comparison to what the Raiders have been the last month, and especially what they were on Sunday against Philadelphia in what was arguably the most non-competitive performance any team has had all season. That's how bad the Raiders were last week. They're honestly the biggest kid. Like, I expect when this is all said and done, the Raiders are picking 1, and then it's going to either be the Jets or the Titans picking number 2, Jake. That's where I think this all lands.
Would be outstanding because the less you got to give up.
Jake, if you're picking number 2, you don't get your pick in a quarterback, but you know what? If you like Dante Moore, you like Mendoza, if Moore goes 1, then you don't have to trade any of your capital. And then you got so much capital that if you like someone that is going to go at the end of the top 10, like if you want to trade up and you think Jordan Tyson falls to like 9 and you want to move back up into the top 10 to get him, or look, the Jets need secondary help. And I know you did not love the idea of trading back up for Caleb Downs, but Caleb Downs is the surest thing in this draft. And you fortify your safety position at the back end of the top 10 after getting your quarterback, those would be totally fine with me. But look, if you're picking in the top 2, Jake, assuming Dante Moore leaves Oregon, which the noise is very loud for that right now, because it sounds like Raiola wants to go to Oregon to continue his college career. If Dante Moore leaves to go to the NFL, Dante Moore's going in the top 5, whether we all believe he's a top 5 quarterback or not. I have my questions about Dante Moore at the next level, but I would imagine the Jets would fall for him if they're picking 2, assuming Mendoza goes 1 to the Raiders.
He's Jeff Parles. My name is Jake Asman. Hit the like button. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We have a new set of weekly raffle prizes. Ladies and gentlemen, our top prize is a signed football by the late, great Nick Mangold. A signed football by each member of the New York Sack Exchange and a signed jersey by Vinny Testaverde. End of this show. You better enter. It's a sick giveaway. Signed helmet by the great Hall of Famer Joe Klecko. Make sure you enter the raffle. A super chat of $5 or more will get you in. Plus, every membership you gift, that's how many raffle tickets you get. Mace B is the first to enter this show. Mace B writes in, the Dolphins are so screwed. Jets' future brighter. Tua contract worse than Justin Fields. All right, Jeff, let's get your take on the Dolphins situation, because not only are they benching Tua, but it's not Zach Wilson. It's 7th-round rookie Quinn Ewers making the start instead of a guy in his 5th year who was the 2nd pick in the draft. But Tua benched. Your thoughts on what's going on with Miami?
Oh, boy. Well, just remember the Jets couldn't get a stop against that offense 2 weeks ago, so that's also fun.
Steve Wilkes.
But, you know, I was batting this around when I saw this morning. Is Tua's career over, Jake? That was where my brain went first. I think Tua's career could be over because unlike Kyler Murray, where you can make the argument that someone could convince themselves that Kyler Murray can be a starting quarterback and a high-end one at that moving forward if he's on the field. Like, I can convince myself the Steelers are like talk themselves into Kyler Murray this offseason. Like, you could probably see that, right, Jake? Right? Like, you could see that. Tua has never won a game under 35 degrees in his career. So that eliminates half the league, more than half the league, as him as a destination. The Raiders are going to be picking a rookie, so why would you bring Tua in? I don't think he's a great mentor for a young quarterback. So that legitimately just leaves Arizona and the Rams if Stafford retires. McVay's not going to do that to himself. And I don't know what Arizona's like the most peculiar scenario this whole offseason. They're the wild card for a team that could trade up ahead of the Jets for a rookie quarterback this upcoming draft. But I think Tua's career is over. Like, I genuinely think his career might be over because I don't see any team maybe Kansas City as a replacement for Mahomes for like the first few weeks to back him up, and then him as a backup is fine. But Tua's career could be over. Like, that doesn't shock me if that happens. The Dolphins are completely screwed though. Long term, they're completely screwed.
Well, they have no quarterback. They have no path to getting one either.
Well, that's the problem now. Like, they're stuck basically in this scenario in, like, unlike the Denver draft after they unloaded Russ, where there were so many quarterbacks and you could have landed Bo Nix where the Broncos did. That doesn't exist in this draft, Jake. Like, that doesn't exist. And that's why, like, starting Ewers is the only move. Like, we know Zach Wilson stinks. Like, we know that, Jake. So we think Quinn Ewers will stink in the NFL, but we don't know. And if you're Miami, it's kind of the same scenario for the Jets, right? But a little bit more extreme. Because at least the Jets are going to have the ability to, more likely than not, draft the quarterback at the top of the draft. But, like, the Dolphins are looking at, like, if the Jets don't get the rookie, the Jets are in a slightly better position because they have more cap room to get a slightly better veteran than Miami does. But, yeah, this is going to be what it is probably for the next few years. We're fighting over third place with the Dolphins. So we'll see. But they're screwed. They're a lot more screwed than the Jets are future-wise, especially. Look, I never liked Tua as a quarterback. I always thought he was average. But, boy, you're benching him with 3 weeks to go with that mammoth contract. His career might be done. It's very possible his career might be done, Jake.
Yeah, look, I didn't think of it like that, but you're right, because he's so fragile and he's got to be in the right system, the right environment. Why would you want that as your backup?
He can't play in the Northeast
and
in the upper Midwest. Like, Kansas City's like the fringe. Like, that's why, like, if I'm thinking about like teams like where it makes sense to be the backup, Kansas City makes sense, but that was the site of the coldest game Tua's ever played in.
Well, he could be the backup for the first month when Mahomes is maybe out or recovering. But
well, that's what I'm saying. Like, he could start for the first month when it's still good weather in the upper in the Midwest in Kansas City. But, like, you're asking, if Mahomes gets hurt down the stretch, you're asking him to play in December, you're screwed.
Yep. You're not wrong. It's a fascinating conversation. How about the fact, though, that they're going to Ewers, a 7th-round pick over Zach Wilson? How bad is Zach Wilson in practice?
Jake, I don't think it's. I'm not surprised by it by all. Like we know Zach Wilson stinks, and it's kind of like the Jet scenario, right? Like, we don't know what Quinn Ewers is. We think he's terrible, but he could end up being good. So I'm not surprised at all that Miami's going the route of Ewers here. Comments. Not that long ago, Jake, Ewers was a projected top 10 pick. Yeah. Like, going into last year, Ewers was a legitimate top of the 15 projected pick until everyone realized, oh, this guy's not that good.
You're not wrong. Chris B says, hey, Jake. Hey, Jeff. Go Jets. Terrific Jet content. Is there any chance you could put Beast and or me in the raffle? If I win, I want Beast to have it. Chris, if you gift a membership, I'll put you in the raffle. And if your name gets called, then Beast will, in fact, be the recipient. You know what? Here's what I'm going to do, Chris. I'm going to gift a membership, and it's going to go to Beast. So I'm going to gift the community a membership right now. No one's gifted yet, so I'll be the first to do it on the show. And this will go towards the crispy beast combination in our sign Joe Klecko raffle coming up. So one membership by yours truly has just been gifted. Chris B, good luck. You and Beast are in for one for the Klecko helmet. All right, we're going to get to your calls coming up. But first, Jeff, I mentioned Mike Florio earlier. I was listening to PFT Live when he was discussing Steve Wilks being fired. And Florio believes this is all connected to Steve Wilks being fired, to Aaron Glenn potentially being one and done. I'll play it, and then we'll get your thoughts.
The New York Jets got splattered by the Jaguars on Sunday, 48-20. The Jets had already been eliminated, but you're still playing for pride, and you're playing, in some cases, for employment. Steve Wilks, the defensive coordinator of the Jets, former interim head coach of the Panthers, former defensive coordinator of the 49ers. He was head coach for 1 year of the Cardinals. He was fired by Aaron Glenn, and the thing that just strikes me as odd here, Aaron Glenn is a defensive head coach. And he fired his defensive coordinator. There's just something odd about that. If the defense is so bad that the coordinator should be fired, I think you're putting yourself a little too close to the flame, Devin. And I still think there's a chance it's going to be one and done for Aaron Glenn in New York. And I think this move that he made is a manifestation of what he's feeling right now, rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic as he's 3 weeks away from possibly being one and done as the New York Jets head coach. And I'm a big believer in admitting mistakes and not doubling down, but you still are admitting the mistake. And he's admitting by firing Wilks that what he did is what he shouldn't have done. And I know Sims has been big on this all year long, and we see it with offensive coaches. When you become a head coach, you don't abandon your offense. You bring your offense and you run your offense. And the only time that I think it's worked for the defensive guys when Mike Tomlin went to Pittsburgh, because they had that 3-4 zone blitzing system perfected. So even though Tomlin was a Tampa 2 guy, Dick LeBeau, he's got it. I'm not going to mess with it. It's working. I'm not going to screw it up. That's far different from I'm just going to bring in some coordinator and let him run a defense even though it's different than mine. So I think there's a chance that Aaron Glenn's going to be one and done. We'll see what the Jets do.
So I vehemently disagree with Florio, Jeff. I'm not saying there's not a case to be made. Like you and I both think Aaron Glenn has been terrible overall in his first year, but I just can't see Woody Johnson doing this, making this type of move, admitting a mistake that the handpicked coach he brought in, he's getting rid of after a year. I'd be stunned.
I would love for Florio to be right for once. I actually kind of agree with his last point, though, because if you're a defensive-minded guy, you should be running your defense.
Yep.
And they ran no defense. They've run no defense. Jake, we all know this. If they don't catch an interception this week, it's the longest streak in NFL history, right? If they don't catch an interception this week, which, by the way, knowing how ridiculous things are, they probably will catch 2 this week and won't set the record, because even horrible records, the Jets can't find a way to hold by themselves. But it's a damning indictment. And also, too, the other thing that struck me, too, Aaron Glenn gave a pretty full-throated defense of Wilks on Sunday after the game.
He did.
And in less than 24 hours, he fired him. And what also was interesting was what Connor Hughes said on Monday as well, right? And look, it wasn't like an actual report from Hughes, but the fact that someone who is respected on the Jet beat said what he said I'd be very surprised if Woody made the call and essentially Woody made the call and told Aaron, you got to get rid of this guy. I want a new defensive coordinator, was essentially what Hughes tweeted. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jake, but I'm 99.9% certain that was the crux of everything that what Hughes said on Monday.
No, Hughes just saying what he didn't tell Glenn.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I don't know. I in every full-throated and this is why I'm maybe I'm just talking myself into it because I would be thrilled if they got rid of Glenn after 1 year and then hired an offensive-minded coach. And really, Banjo's the only guy on the staff that needs to stick around moving forward, Jake. Like, even though I think Engstrand can be a good offensive coordinator, if they cut it after 1 year because they fired Glenn, I wouldn't be heartbroken. But the timing is odd after the full-throated defense on Sunday, regardless of how awful it truly was.
But here's the thing, though, Jeff, right? You bring up the defense. He was way more vocal in defending Wilks after the Miami game, saying, I've been in his spot before, talked about year one in Detroit when people were saying he should be fired. He made a comment at the podium saying, I believe in Wilks. We're running his defense. I want him to see it through these last three. When he said we're running the Wilks defense, he separated himself from the guy right there. So that was the first sign to me that, all right, he's a goner. I just didn't think it was necessarily going to be the next day.
Sure, but it was still, he still defended his guy a lot more than you normally would hear, especially after that game too. But look, I think we kind of noticed this with AG this year, where he has changed his tune on so many times because of how bad this is, almost separating this. We knew that, like, remember, like, let's just go back to I want a team that the fans are proud of in December. And then he backed away from that.
I never said when.
And then multiple times, like even at halftime of the game, when he was interviewed by the CBS crew at halftime, when he was asked about Brady Cook's performance, is like, he's a rookie in a bad situation. Dodo, you created the bad situation. Like, this is like, look, this has been 15 years of garbage from this franchise. And this is the worst team that they've had in those 15 years. Like, this team's worse than the 2020 disaster. Like, that team was just a regular bad team, Jake. That was a regular bad team that just did not have the pieces and had a bad coach on top of it. This team has too many pieces. And again, they're far away. But Quincy Williams was legitimately an all-pro 2 years ago, and now he's unplayable. He played as bad of a game as I've ever seen a Jet defensive player ever play on Sunday. That's not just Quincy Williams didn't forget how to play that quickly in 2 years, from basically all pro level to unplayable, and probably should be benched because of his play. That's on the coaching staff. So look, I hope Florio's onto something. This team would be much better off if they recognized the mistake. And honestly, Muji deserves to stay around, Jake. Like, this wasn't Muji's hire. This was Woody Johnson's hire. And everything Muji has done through the year, through this season, he nailed the trade deadline. Nailed it. They weren't close to winning. He got rid of two really good pieces. And look at all that draft capital these next 2 years. Look, you better get it right. But you at least have to give him the chance, because he at least had the wherewithal. And Jake, not many GMs would have had the stones to trade Sauce Gardner. Like, that's the thing. Like, I understand it doesn't look great that you gave him the contract extension and then you're flipping around, but you know what? You were offered a trade that, you know what? You couldn't refuse it. And now those picks look awesome because Indy's totally a lead balloon right now.
Yep.
So,
and look, again, the in-season trades have been good, like as far as acquiring Briggs, Phillips, Brownlee, getting Nick Folk when they did to recognize the issue at kicker. Muji's done his job at a far higher level than Aaron Glenn has done his as a head coach.
100%. And look, they got the quarterback wrong. Okay, fine. Like, there was a coin flip chance they were going to get it wrong when they gave Justin Fields the 2-year contract. Like, there was always a chance that it ended. Again, I don't think it was never going to end up this badly, but there was always a chance that it wasn't going to work and they were going to have to redo this afterwards. But you know what? It was a chance you take. But I think this disaster this year is on the coach, on the head coach. Not like 85% of this is on the head coach. So if Woody got rid of him after 1 year, he would be justified. Yeah. Now, I think there's a little bit to be said over, hey, you hired the coach before you hired the GM. He's your guy. You can't really get rid of him after 1 year. The roster was a lot further than we expected. But I think the bad is out. Like, I know I made my case earlier of like looking like, hey, what are we pointing to? But you made a good point right back at me. Like, Boyer, who I thought was a good special teams coordinator, survived 3 regimes. Like, you can keep Chris Banjo. Like, you can say, like, to the next head coach, hey, like, look at our spec. Like, if you fire Glenn after year one, and again, I think it's like at best the 10% chance, Jake. At best, it's 1 in 10 that he gets canned. At best. You look at our special teams. Hey, that was Chris Banjo. Like, you can find, like, the only other issue too, Jake, this offseason, there aren't many good coordinators available this go around. That is the other issue with this offseason coming up. The best coordinator period available is Jesse Minter. He's a defensive guy. I don't want to go down the defensive track again. If we're looking at offensive coordinators, Jake, who's the best offensive coordinator available as a head coaching candidate this offseason?
Well, that's why, Jeff, I think you have to hire Mike McCarthy. You got to hire someone with experience
Oh,
like
so
that.
you would go that. Okay, so you would go that route. My route would be completely different if I were to do this. And
I want an offensive coach for the rookie we're drafting. And someone with experience would be a plus.
So Jake, my thought process actually would be a little bit different because I don't know. I don't love, like, I get Mike McCarthy. Like, hey, I don't know. Shoddy's been the exact same as him. So, like, I don't know.
But if you could win 12 plus games 3 times with Jerry Jones, you can handle dealing with the shit that comes with being the Jet coach.
Sure. But here's the other issue with this offseason, with like hiring a coach this offseason too. The best coaching candidate, period, this offseason is Marcus Freeman. Period. He's the best coaching candidate out there. And he's a college head coach.
Can't do it.
You always run the risk that it's not going to work. But to me, Marcus Freeman is by far the best coaching candidate available in this cycle. Like, I don't even think it's close. And are you willing to make that risk if you're Woody Johnson to try to get in front of the Giants? I think the Giants are going to hire Marcus Freeman. Period, Jake. I think that's what's going to end up happening.
Why would he leave Notre Dame, Jeff? Like, why is he such a hot name for the NFL?
Because I think his temperament's better in the NFL than it is in college. And I really do think, and look, especially with the deck is going to be better for Notre Dame moving forward with the new rules, and especially after they got screwed. But I think Marcus Freeman profiles better as an NFL head coach than he does in college. And Jake, one other thing, and I was batting this around also with someone else earlier this week. Now that the college system is very pro-like, I think a lot of these high-end younger college coaches may take a shot at going to the NFL. Like Dan Lanning might, when the right NFL job comes open that wants him, might take the jump. Now, I'm not saying Lanning would be right for the Jets, but like we could see the Lannings, Freeman are really the two that stands out. Like those younger guys in their 40s. Kenny Dillingham's another guy who could eventually make the leap to the NFL. That might be the better coach, like be the better path at this point, because there are not many good coordinators available at this point, Jake. Like,
well, Jeff, to me, it's McCarthy, it's Cliff Kingsbury. If you want to give him,
but that's my point, Jake. Like Kingsbury's the first name that came up to me. Like, this is not a good offseason to be needing a head coach.
No, but you don't just keep Glenn around just because you're if he's not your guy.
I agree. It's that look. It's a double-edged sword on this. Like, do you keep the guy who, again, it's only 1 year, but the guy has been a bottom 3 head coach this year in the NFL. The only guy who's been worse than him is Pete Carroll. Like, Pete Carroll's the only guy who's been worse than Aaron Glenn this year, like without a doubt, for guys who haven't been fired. The other interesting one would be if Cleveland fires Stefanski.
I'd take him over Glenn.
I think Kevin Stefanski is an excellent coach who's been in a completely impossible situation with a GM that's been clueless there. He made the playoffs twice. He made the playoffs with Joe Flacco 2 years ago.
Yep, coach of the year twice.
So, like, Stefanski's the interesting one. If Cleveland fires him, like if you're Woody Johnson and you think you can get Kevin Stefanski, you have to give that a long think. And personally, I would do it because I don't think Stefanski's going to be that hot of a commodity because teams are going to look at the win-loss record and not look at the situation he's been in.
Well, also, Jeff, you could potentially trade for a coach, right? Harbaugh, Tomlin, if something crazy like that becomes available.
I'll ask you this, Jake. I'll ask you this. Because if the Giants don't hire Marcus Freeman, it would not shock me if the Giants trade for Mike Tomlin. It would also not shock me if the Raiders trade for Mike Tomlin after firing Pete Carroll at the end of this year. I would not get in a bidding war over Mike Tomlin. I would not do that. That is, I don't think I know he's denying it, like over 500 thing. Like I understand that. I don't think he's a good enough head coach in 2026 to justify trading draft capital for. And then I'll ask you about John Harbaugh. Have the Ravens looked like a well-coached team the last 3 years?
This year, no. I don't think it's been a 3-year problem, though.
I think the last time that team has looked like a high-end coach team was 3 years ago. I don't think at any point last year they looked like a high-end coach team, and this year they definitely have not looked like it. So I don't know. By the way, I don't think Baltimore's firing Harbaugh unless if they miss the playoffs, which they very well could. And it's pretty evident that he and Lamar don't see eye to eye at this point.
I'd hire him, though. I still would. I still would have faith in Harbaugh.
It's close. But here's the other question. Do you think John Harbaugh would want the Jet job?
I don't know.
I'm not convinced of that. He could want to say, you know what? I've been doing this for 18 years. I'm going to take a year off, and some monster job's going to come available next year, and I'm going to take that. Like, that wouldn't shock me at all if that's the case. Like, here's the other thing, too, for like these sitting head coaches in this scenario you just brought out, and even like high-end coordinators. Andy Reid's going to retire in the next 2 to 3 years, Jake. Like, I don't think he's going to after this year because of how big of a calamity that turned in for Kansas City, and I don't think he's going to leave on that note. But there are going to be a lot of coaches that are positioning themselves to try to get the Kansas City job when Andy Reid retires, assuming they just don't promote from within with Nagy, which I think would be a horrible mistake. That's the other one I'd be scared of. That Woody's like, oh, we're going to hire Nagy. You can't do that. Can't do that. No. He's a known bad commodity at this point. But also keep in mind, Woody didn't even have the wherewithal to talk to Liam Cohen, and Liam Cohen ended up being like, there were 3 great hires this offseason. Vrabel, who we already had that discussion a few weeks ago, they were never not going to New England. Ben Johnson, who was never coming to the Jets, and Cohen. Those 3 guys turned dumpster fires into playoff teams in 1 year.
Yeah, look, I still don't think he gets fired, but if you are already out on him and like they get off to an 0-4 start next year and he'd be fired then, well, then just do it now and don't make the Saleh mistake where you could have had Vrabel coaching you going into 24 if you admitted your mistake with Saleh after 23. So if you're already out on Aaron Glenn, then make the move. But I think Woody Johnson's ego will not allow him to get rid of a coach he personally hired for the first time in a decade after just 1 season. There's too many hugs he's given him.
I hug him every day. I hug him every day.
I can't see it. I really can't.
Again, like I said, 1 in 10. I think it's a 10% chance at most that they would get rid of him after 1 year. But look, Jake, Woody is a man who is influenced by by public opinion sometimes and horrible performances. If they get waxed in New Orleans, it makes it increasingly more likely, because then more likely than not, they will have gone 5 games in a row to end the season with being non-competitive.
Yeah. That's a good point. I mean, look, if it looks really, really bad, these final 3, then perhaps that could change things. But it's tough to picture. He wouldn't be wrong for doing it, though. That's the thing. Glenn,
he's justified. He's already justified with what's gone on this year.
This has been a disaster. Anyone trying to defend Aaron Glenn, you're just doing it because you don't want to fire a coach after a year, or you loved him as a Jet 30 years ago. If this is happening like a year from now, he'd be gone already. It has been that bad.
Oh, yeah.
It's a shame because it's a great story. He's a great person. He wanted the job. I don't enjoy talking about this, but we got to call a spade a spade. He's been atrocious this year, Jeff.
Like I said, he's been, for guys who have not been fired, the only guy who's been worse than him this year is Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
And Pete Carroll has been miles the worst coach in the NFL this year, by miles.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And that's it. He's the only of the guys who did not, like Callahan and Dable are obviously ineligible because they got fired. But Pete Carroll's the only guy who's been worse than Glenn.
Brutal. You got time for calls? You got to run. I forget what your out time is.
You know what? Give me 2 callers. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll give you 1. But the problem is he's basically the equivalent of 2. Ladies and gentlemen, sing along.
Get ready for Neil. He will make 13 points. Jets and maybe hump a Patriots jersey. Get ready for Neil. He's probably smoking a big fat cigar and burning his house to the ground. That's Neil.
I have the same problem.
Oh God.
Believe me when I tell you, the problem is going to be less with me than NetJets. Because if anybody finds a recovery, it's me. Because I'm working 100%. NetJets, you got some hungover person that's your concierge that doesn't give a shit if you fly with Eagle or not. I care because you're my client. All right. So trust me when I tell you, I am going to make sure. But I just want to tell you that I hate the way I'm getting those feelings like I did on that dreadful year of the COVID. It is that busy right now. I'm not getting people. I have people that are trying to make reservations now for like a week from now. And I'm out there trying to find planes. There's nothing. And that didn't happen to me since that COVID year. So what that tells me is we're in for a really busy week that week. I mean, really busy. And that COVID year, there were a lot of delays. A lot.
Hell yeah, Neil. Hell yeah. Close that sale, Neil. Close that sale.
Jesus, I that's not quite V-Man falling asleep, but that's pretty good. Pretty close.
Man, that's a businessman right there. Jeff, you want to do one actual call?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Ladies
Well, we
and
did
gentlemen,
actually get a call there, Jake.
we did. That was a
Just wasn't
call.
for us.
Look, if we can't have Neil, let's have his right-hand man on the program.
Oh, shit. Hey, Jeff. How are you?
Mr. Castro, what's going on?
Good to see you. Hey, Jake.
What's up, Peter?
I'm going to make believe I'm Woody Johnson, all right? And I'm up in the stadium watching the game. I'm going, what the fuck is going on here? What is going on? All right? Now the game's over. And I'm thinking to myself, ugh, this guy's got to go. This guy's got to go. Then the following week comes. All right? Holy shit. We're getting our ass kicked again. Again. Jaime's in his ear. Chris is in his ear. I'm calling him tonight. Don't worry, guys. Hey, Aaron, you got to do something. You got no defense here. You're a defensive guru, supposedly. There's no defense here. Are you going to talk to him or we're going to fire him? What are we doing? One or the other. If you think for 1 second that Glenn made that decision, you're wrong. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. He's got to be out the friggin' door. And I got news for you. These 3 games, if they finish like shit, which they will, all right, he's going to be out the door. Because now everybody's blowing in Woody's ear. And Woody's not going to take it. He's gone.
Peter, from your lips to God's ears.
Oh, shit.
Jeff, I do think you and Peter make a good point. If they look pathetic against the Saints and then against 2 division opponents to close out the year, you're right, that'd be 5 straight games of embarrassment. Then perhaps, yeah, Woody would rethink things. But again, I still think it is not likely that even happens. Like, they could be very competitive in this game Sunday against the Saints, and that might be enough.
I think, like I said earlier, I think they're going to lose, but they're going to be competitive. I don't think New Orleans is capable of beating down anyone. But look, Jake, if they lose, like if firing Wilkes doesn't improve the defense at all right away, which I don't know if it will or it won't because the personnel still stinks. But look, if they Jake, if they lose let's say they lose 31-10, okay? And it's not because Brady Cook threw multiple pick sixes. Let's say New Orleans has 31 points and they're all genuinely because their offense scored, right? Then, I mean, you're probably getting clocked by New England. The other thing is, too, if you're Woody and the last 3 games, they're going to go 0-6 in the division again. Your last 3 games, of the 6 games in your division, only 1.5 of them was competitive, right? Like I'll give them a half against New England, and they were competitive against Miami. That was the stupid fumbling the kickoff game that really cost them. They would have won that game if they didn't fumble the kickoff. So look, I don't know. I hope Florio's onto it because this team would be much better off with an offensive-minded head coach when you're more likely than not going to end up with either Dante Moore or Fernando Mendoza at the top of this draft coming up.
Well said. Well said, Jeff. Now you got to run. Great conversation with you, man. Shout out to Brady Cook, the pride of Mizzou.
Jake, are we having a show next week on Christmas Eve?
Oh, I have to reach out to you. I plan on it. Yeah, I'm doing radio. When am I on that day? I think I'm doing the morning show that day, so I'll connect with you. Maybe we could do a little earlier so we can get out of the way.
Whatever you want to do. I'll see you next Wednesday. So happy Hanukkah out there for everyone who celebrates. So happy Hanukkah for everyone out there who celebrates. And then we'll get the Christmas cheer next Wednesday, talking about the Jets probably getting blasted by New England next week. No.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's in the holiday spirit. Jeff Parles.
Let's go Jets! Let's go Jets! Let's go Jets! Let's go Jets!
Shout out to Jeff. Great insight. As always, comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. We need raffle entries. Joe Klecko, signed helmet up for grabs at the end here. Let me get caught up on the super chats. This one's from Kyle Clifton. With our luck, Quinn Ewers is the next Marino. I'm in for that sack exchange football. Kyle, you're in for all the raffle prizes, including the Klecko helmet. Good luck. If Quinn Ewers ends up being Dan Marino, God help us. God hates the Jets, officially. Big fella, I could see Tua going to be the Rams. Yeah, look, I mean, they play indoors. It's L.A., AFC West. I could see that. That's not a terrible spot for him. Jet Hub thoughts on Tua. We covered this at length earlier, Jet Hub, but I do think he'll never play for the Dolphins again. I think they're going to move off him. It's a matter of where he goes next. Bino in the raffle for one with this. If he finishes 3-14, they cannot let him take a rookie QB and rush him to save his job. That's exactly what would happen 100%. Again, if Aaron Glenn goes 3-14, that's uncharted territory for any first-year coach in Jet history. The only coaches that ever had a 14-loss season or more were Gase in his second year and Kotite in his second year. So, could things improve next year with better players and obviously a better quarterback? For sure. But I keep coming back to this. What does Aaron Glenn do well as a head coach? What has he improved? We could say special teams. That's Chris Banjo. Great. I could retain Chris Banjo. Brent Boyer was on Todd Bowles' staff, Adam Gase's staff, Robert Sala's staff. I could retain Banjo, give credit to Glenn for Banjo, just like I guess technically Rich Kotite gets credit for Wayne Corbett, but the Jets have been straight up not competitive in a lot of games this year. I know Jeff said the first Dolphins game, they were in it. Not really. I mean, they beat themselves to a pulp that night, committed 13 penalties on offense. They had the fumble by Braylon Allen. They had the fumble on the kickoff as well. Isaiah Williams, who's now the best returner in the league at that time, he sucked. Did he fair catch the ball at the 2-yard line, right? They scored a late touchdown to set up the onside kick. They were pretty much out of that game. They're down 17-3 until Fields had that great individual play with the long touchdown run. They got blown out against Buffalo. They got blown out for most of that Tampa game and needed a fake comeback in it. Jacksonville, bloodbath. Miami at home 2 weeks ago, bloodbath. I mean, half the schedule, they've been out of it this year, and they're getting worse. The team came out unprepared, outcoached, and then they turned around and allowed 48 points the following week. After the Miami embarrassment, you had the debacle against Jacksonville just now. They won the Browns game because they needed 2 special teams touchdowns. That's not sustainable. That's fluky. They're not competitive. They're not disciplined. We're not seeing improvement. I don't think this is well coached. I think they have a schematic disadvantage in basically every game we watched this year. No one demanded this team be a playoff team. We wanted progress. That's what Glenn said we would get. Then he moved the goalpost. Oh, I never said when you'd be proud. Bullshit. And look, I still don't think he's getting fired, but I understand why there's a lot of Jet fans who don't have confidence in the coach. Again, if he didn't play for the Jets and was a great player 30 years ago, I think more people would say he should be one and done. It's been that bad. And ask yourself this, if Aaron Glenn got fired, would he get another job as a head coach? No chance. I'm not convinced he'd necessarily be a defensive coordinator. He might be, but it's not a lock. Like, you knew Salah, the second he became available, was going to be the most coveted DC guy that was out there. Same with Bowles. Like, it's been really bad, man. Honestly. Like, when Gase got fired, he never got another job. That's kind of how bad it's been with Glenn for this year. More of your calls right now. Let's say hello to Jiggy, the Jet Man. What's up, Jiggy?
What's up, man? How you doing?
What's up?
Just chilling, man. Playing Battlefield right now. I was hoping to catch Jeff before he left. I'm not I mean, I know Aaron hasn't had a great season, but I'm not on the fire him train. I think a lot of things haven't went well other than just like his coaching. You know what I mean? Like as far as the quarterback play, yes, we did, bring in Justin, but the last couple regimes they didn't hit on quarterbacks and they had extended time. And we always knew, like Jeff said, it was a coin flip with Justin. Then not only that, Tyrod hasn't been getting the ball out of his hands. Angstren has been scheming things up. If you look at the film, they're just not getting the ball out of their hands to our receivers and tight ends. That's not on Aaron Glenn. Now, as far as like the defense goes, he is a defensive minded coach. I feel like he probably should have put more input into the defense. But from what I have seen, inside the locker room, he has been changing the culture, especially for the young guys. I feel like the people who, wasn't adhering to that culture did get shipped out. And as far as Quincy goes, he did have a bad shoulder injury that he sat out from. Could be something that's holding him back. And also, they traded his brother. That could also be something, even though, at the end of the day, it is a job. He's supposed to be getting paid. But
He's been terrible, though, Jiggy. And Will McDonald,
he has.
do Jermaine, right? I mean, like, I get it. The talent on the defense is not good, but they were awful with Sauce and Quinnen before all that. Like, it's just there's just a lot of red flags, man. I get not firing him, but they don't do it. Like, it takes more than a year to turn around a losing situation that the Jets have been. Like, that's what they'll say. But again, like, it was a tough decision for Robert Kraft, I'm sure, to fire Gerard Mayo. I'm sure he's thrilled he did it. Like, sometimes you just know, like, don't compound the mistake if you already think you hired the wrong guy.
I mean, I just don't think he's the wrong guy. Like, the penalties.
You trust him with a rookie quarterback? Because that's really the big question.
I mean, I feel like do we trust Angstren with a rookie quarterback? You know what I mean? I feel like he's going to leave that offensive side to Angstren, and I feel like after this year, he's going to have to put more focus on the defense with him being a defensive-minded coach. You know what I mean? Like, from what I see, like, Angstren isn't bad with rookies. Like, Brady Cook is letting the ball go. Those picks, it's either the receiver's not in place where he's throwing it in rhythm, or it's just bad timing from him not being able to get those reps back there. But Brady is getting the ball out. He's seeing his receivers well. He's on timing, and I feel like with somebody, if we do get, that's a big if we do get Fernando Mendoza, that he would be able to help him elevate. And I feel like Aaron needs to focus more on that defense, whoever he does bring in that coordinator spot. But, he isn't afraid to make changes. He has done that multiple times with the quarterback. I'm pretty sure Woody isn't making him fire, Steve Wilkes, but he doesn't shy away from making changes. He puts in young people when people aren't doing well. As far as the linebackers, he's rotating the newer D linemen that we got until they got hurt, the edges. And, as far as Will McDonald and Jermaine go, like at the end of the day, if it's a pass rush, that has nothing to do with coaching. He still has his spin move. At the end of the day, it's beat the man in front of you, which you have been doing the last couple of years. That has nothing to do with your coaching. You know what I'm saying? Like, they still run stunts. At the end of the day, if you're on a third down and you're wide 9 and you're going, like, Aaron Glenn isn't out there with the tackle. Like, that is Will McDonald.
But these guys aren't, but they're not being put in situations where they're like the Jets blitz among the most, and I think they're 22nd in pressure rate when they blitz. Like that's not showing me, proven schematics there, right? Like it just again, like Will McDonald obviously needs to be better. Some of this is clearly on the players, but he talked up Will McDonald as a guy that because of their coaching was going to take the next step as a player. He's had one good game this year too, if you count, I guess, week 1, right? He has 7 sacks and 4 of them came in one game. 2 of them came in week 1. Like, where's he been? Jermaine, right? Where's
Yeah,
he
but
been?
I'm saying that's the thing though. Like from what I've been told from the season, like they have added more moves to Will McDonald's arsenal. But if you're watching Will McDonald, it's only either the spin move or he's trying to bull rush. That's not Aaron Glenn. They have added that to his bag. You need to reach into your bag during the game.
But you also need
Like
to be put in a spot where like your defense is like schematically in the right spot. Like they're having communication breakdowns. They're the worst team we've ever seen off play action. Like they don't have an interception yet. And he's a defensive coach. Again, like
See,
they're
but that's the thing. So as far as like the communication breakdown, right? If you're supposed to be in a certain coverage and you're not pushing or you're not talking to your DBs, one, we do have some young DBs. I feel like some of them shouldn't have been brought back, like Tony Adams, but that's neither here or there. But the Jags game, I was actually there, right? Quantez Stiggers is in front of the ball. He should have had a pick. He overplayed the ball. That's not Aaron Glenn or Steve Wilkes having these, like, he was in position to make a play, overplayed it. You know what I mean? Like at some point we have to hold these players accountable as well as the coaching. As far as the defense goes, one part of the coaching has been eliminated. Now, as Aaron Glenn being a defensive minded person, can you step up, fill that
but
void?
like he
And
hired Wilkes though, Jiggy. That doesn't concern you that his big DC hire was a colossal failure?
but a lot of people out there, a lot of the media out there was saying that it was a decent hire because they felt like he needed a veteran voice in there, one that has been a coach.
Sure.
You know what I'm
I think the
saying? So
process made sense, but again, like this guy's, there
exactly.
was
So if the process made sense there, you cannot fault it not working out,
no,
especially
but
when
you
Steve
can
Wilkes
though.
had some.
But you can from this standpoint. We could say, hey, you want to get some experience on the staff because he's new. But again, you hired a guy who he had no prior working relationship with to run a different scheme than what he's running. Like Aaron Glenn should be involved in his defense, should he not? Like
I
McDonald
feel
in
like
Seattle
I feel
calls the
like
plays. D'Amico
Now that's
calls the
definitely
plays in
what I'm
Houston.
saying. I feel like he's been trying to play more of the head coach, like kind of like Dan Campbell, where he has a foot into everything, and I feel like he needs to have 2 feet into the defense. That's exactly what I'm saying.
But then
I
there's
feel like
also the issues with the game management, clock management, being ready to play. Like they've been outclassed these last
I
2
mean,
games in
that's what
particular.
that's what any first time head coach though. Like you have your analytics person screaming in your ear, we need to do this, that, and the third. You have your own mind where you've been in this situation as a player, as a D coordinator. We all make first time mistakes on first time jobs. This is why you go through a season. This is why you have next preseason to go through it. And so that way you don't make those same mistakes again. I feel like some of the clock stuff has been better as the games have been going on. Have they not? I feel like majority of it has been.
I think there's been improvement there, yes, but I mean, it just it's bad, man. I think you're kind of excusing a lot of like what we're seeing here is like real red flags for this team. Like again, a couple points for you of my issues, right? Let's go back to the quarterback decision. His biggest
Okay.
swing in year 1 was Justin Fields. They completely whiffed on it, right? Glenn publicly said Fields has never been coached properly. This staff would finally unlock him. Instead, Fields has looked the worst that he ever has. They had
Okay,
no competition.
before your next point, right? How many other quarterbacks realistically out there do we have a chance of grabbing? And secondly, before you answer that one, once you do bring somebody in, are you not going to, one, as your first time as a head coach, try to, explain to the media that you have faith in yourself to build this man up, not only, for the media, but for that quarterback, because you want him to feel like you trust him and you feel like you want that man to have faith in you and your system. So why not try to build him up instead of just saying, hey, we just signed him?
Here's the
And
pushback, Jiggy, right? They overpaid for him. There was no market for Justin Fields at that contract, right? 30 million guaranteed. That's crazy. And the logical conclusion of that is they just promised him the starting job to get him the sign. But this is a guy who has preached competition. He made Joe Tippmann have to compete for his job. Joe Tippmann's had a great season on the offensive line. So like it's that right away was a warning sign, and then how bad it's been. We mentioned the game management, the repeated errors
I
that we've
mean,
had
wait,
there.
back to my first rebuttal with the quarterback. How many actual legit options did we have going
Jacoby
back to
Brissett, Jameis Winston.
Jacoby Brissett? We didn't know he was playing like this until the back half of the season. You know what
That's
I
not true. We
mean?
knew that he was always a competent bridge option. Now he has a lower ceiling than Fields, right? Like I understood the thought process with Fields, but they completely overpaid. And again, it's not that they signed Fields. I understood it at the time because of the upside. It's how bad it's looked, man. You promised that you build a style of offense around him, and they've been nowhere close to doing any of that. The only time it looked like how it was supposed to look was week 1 against Pittsburgh. And I guess you could say the Cincinnati game where they went up against, at the time, the worst defense ever assembled. That now might be the current Jet defense. But a couple other things, right? Player development to me is my biggest criticism. He promised that coaching would elevate the roster. The opposite has happened. Other than, I think, Jawan Briggs, I can't name one defensive player that has improved. And a big part of coaching is the coaching staff, right? So he's already fired Wilkes. Are we going to get some changes to some position coaches too? Probably, with a new DC coming in. And again, you could say whatever you want about Robert Saleh, but we saw real player development on that side of the ball. I could give you chapter and verse of guys who became Jets who completely exceeded whatever our expectations were for them. We haven't seen that there. A couple other things. I already mentioned Wilkes, the recent track record raising concerns. And what do they do well on defense? They don't stop the run. They don't have a pass rush. They have 2 takeaways all year, 0 interceptions. I mentioned some of the blowouts they've been a part of, right? Buffalo, both Miami games, Dallas, Jacksonville, Tampa for most of the game. Again, Glenn said the goal was for the Jets to be a team fans would be proud of. And I don't think anyone's proud of likely a 3-14 season here. So I understand in all likelihood, Woody's not going to fire a head coach after 1 year. But if we're being honest, like there's a reason why a lot of Jet fans don't think Aaron Glenn's a very good head coach.
I mean, I feel like just watching the game, like with my own eyes, it's a lot of incompetent quarterback play. The scheme for the offense is there, which means your defense is on the field more, which is acquiring more injuries, which is more fatigue. And mind you, these are young players that are on punt team, on kickoff, on kick return. And so it's like, how much do you want these players to expend while being out there on the field? You know what I mean? So it's like, I feel like he is getting a lot of blame, but if you sit there and you watch the game, it's a lot. It's a lot going on there. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't have a lot of the players that, well, they're saying players, but just not performing how they were at the.
That's coaching.
Listen, the defense has been on the decline for the last 3 years. I feel like it's more of an exposure of
They were very good. They were good in 23. Last year, they were not nearly as good, but they were not this. I mean, this is historic.
Yeah, I mean, either way, I don't know. I just feel like he's getting a lot of the backlash for players underperforming.
That's because he's the head coach. That's why he's the head coach who promised that coaching would elevate this team. He shat all over the previous coaching staff and thought he could take a team with Tony Adams and Michael Clemens and all these guys they brought back. They paid Sherwood, right? He thought Sauce Gardner. They extended him, and obviously he wasn't playing at the level he was his first 2 years, and they traded him, which was the right move. But again, he promised coaching would elevate the current players. We haven't seen that. So now it's like we're going to let him elevate Fernando Mendoza or Dante Moore. That's why there's real concerns with that.
Yeah, well, I think he just needs to put more emphasis on the defense, bring in, maybe another quarterbacks coach so him and Engstrand can develop, if we do actually, draft Fernando, because I don't think we're going to get the first pick, maybe getting third or second, so that way we don't have to trade as much capital. Getting up to the first seems more realistic than actually getting that first spot. But, if we don't get a quarterback or Fernando or, Dante, hopefully they can be smart in the draft and acquire some actual pieces that can boost his team for next year. But either way, I think, he needs cut him a little bit of slack, especially with the last regimes that we've been through. Like, I just feel like it's a lot of people at his neck. He's trying to change the culture. The small things I feel like are going over people's heads, like penalties are going down. Things are looking better inside the locker room. We're getting new, younger faces that look like, they can play. AZ Thomas looks like, the full season, he can be somebody that's going to be great, especially Malachi Moore as well. Juwan Briggs, see who else they bring in drafts. But, I think there is a little bit of little bit of upside that I see coming up for this next season. I don't know about the last 3 games, but as far as next season, I feel like it will be a little better.
Jiggy, I appreciate the take and the optimism. And look, I don't think he's getting fired, so I hope he improves and is an awesome coach. We just got to be honest. I mean, it has not been a good start, but we could be fair. Peter Castro says Glenn has done JJ better. McDonald better took a running QB. Peter, is this English? I don't even know what you're I don't even know what you're asking. Jet Hub says Zach Wilson is over Tua on Miami's depth chart. I saw that. So Tua is the number 3 quarterback. Zach's the number 2, and Quinn Ewers will start. Hey, last chance here to get in. We got the Joe Klecko signed helmet up for grabs at the end of the show. We're going to get to more of your outstanding calls right now. Ladies and gentlemen, up next on the Gustbuster Umbrella Hotline is...
I'm Black Gypsy, here to set all you delusional Jets fans straight. Your takes make me wanna punch you in the face, or kick you in the crotch. When this team sucks, they suck. I'm Black Gypsy, I'm Black Gypsy, I'm Black Gypsy, I'm Black Gypsy.
Uh-oh. We don't have them. We don't have Black Gypsy. I repeat, we don't have Black Gypsy, but we do have the Chuck Wagon.
Chuck Wagon's always cooking, which it takes. Chuck Wagon's even cooking at the game. Chuck Wagon hates McDonald's, but he's headed home to cook. It's time once again for Chuck Wagon.
Hey Jake, in the last 30 years, do you know how many coaches were one and done?
It's been way more recently, but I don't know the total number.
1. And it was just Al Groh who had a winning record.
Oh, you're talking about the Jets?
Yes, the Jets, sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, what contrary to what people have said about Woody, oh, he's impatient. Now he's actually too patient. Joe Douglas was in year 6. Robert Saleh was in year 4. Rex was here for 6 years. Bowles was here for 4. McCagnon 4. Like these guys all got time. I mean, Mangini got 3. Herm left on his own, but like again, Al Groh wasn't even fired though, Chuck. He left to go take the coaching job at Virginia.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. He only coached 1 year, so and with a winning record, which is surprising, that he would go back to college after a winning record. But yeah, I know I said it earlier, and I'll say it again. I don't see him going anywhere next year unless some third rail incident happens and he just ticks off Woody Johnson. Now, Woody probably will maybe listen to his son more. So maybe he asks his son what he should do. He'll probably listen to his son. So, don't know.
I don't know how involved Brick or Jack Johnson are in telling their dad what they should do. I think this is a Woody decision.
Yeah, it was just a little joke. Sorry. I didn't think you would take it as serious as I said it, but well.
You didn't really deliver it in a joking manner, Chuck Wagon.
Well, I'm still a little new at this, so
you're very stoic with your delivery. Let me bring out my joke guy. He'll tell you how it's done.
Oh. I don't think Beast knows he's on.
Crusty bread and some soup tonight. Well, I did say this hundreds of times. 1995 was the worst year, 3-13. 1996 was the second worst, 1-15. And then when Parcells got signed by Leon Hess, when he said to bring Parcells in, Parcells did the whole team a big favor. Change. He changed a few of the guards. Hugh Douglas was let go. I know there was like another couple of other guys that were let go after that season. And then after that, what did Parcells do? He got his first round draft pick, Curtis Martin. That was 98 season. Then Vinny came in, and a lot of the other guys came in. Started 0-2. After that, we bombed the Colts 44-6. That was probably one of the turning points in New York Jet history when we bombed the crap out of the Colts 44-6. And then all of a sudden, the season of dreams.
Hey, B, show us what you're eating.
We got a chicken soup with some carrots and some celery tonight.
Very
And
healthy.
fresh chicken. Yeah, and fresh Palestinian crusty bread. No Mexican food, not today. It's too Plus, not in this weather. But next year we're gonna be just fine. We're just gotta relax, finish out the season, and then focus on some basketball. And congratulations to the Knicks for winning their whatever trophy it is. Whatever, that's fine.
NBA Cup champions, baby.
That don't mean nothing. That's preliminary right there.
It's a dry rehearsal for what's happening in June, B.
That's what I call it. That's just that's rehearsal stuff. Now it's the focus now on the real stuff, the real season, the NBA season. 82 games a year, no playing around. You want to win games? Get off your ass and do it. That's all you need to do.
Hey, B, show us your jump shot. We're playing basketball.
Look at this. Look it up. Jalen Brunson for 3. He scores. Brunson for 3 again. Hits it again. Look at this. 6-2. Brunson. Brunson shoots. Scores. Boom. Boom. That's how you shoot, baby. It's basketball time. Put up. Shut up.
Right now, we're getting some gabagool. If you really want some gabagool, you gotta come get the gabagool. Catch you later.
Let me tell you, Gator, I just gave you a brand new Beast intro right there. White men can jump. Beast Breaker, proving it.
Imagine Beast wearing those like 1980s, 1990s shorts too.
Oh, yeah. That's a man's man right there.
My God.
Any other jokes for us, Chuck? You got a stand-up routine you're working on?
No. I already bombed once. I think I'm going to end it right there.
Am I going to see you working on some material at the Comedy Cellar tonight?
Oh, no.
No? All right. Well, we'll talk to you soon.
Tried. Okay, thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, I know what we need right now. We need a man who is fearless.
I got my Iron UG. I hope you like my Jets take. You know they call me David T. It's not easy for me to see, but if you bring me full stream, you might like what I had to say. I'll need to get real damn close, cause my vision is dog shit.
Hi, Jake.
Hey, David.
As Mad Max would say, can you hear me?
No.
Shout out to Johnny Boy. Get better, and great as Maniac and Jet fan. I feel at this point I just can't justify Aaron Glenn not getting fired or released or part ways. And Brady Cook, I'm a fan because I think he can end up being a more than capable backup. And Chuck Wagon, you know, I did the replay of your show earlier, and comes from an Italian family, and he was cooking. We called them Lawans, and my dad didn't do that, but my aunt used to send them over. And hey, you know. But anyway, the bottom line is Johnny Boy, you know, recovering and everything, and your show, Jake, keeping his sanity.
David, this is why you're a legend. Thank you for calling in and blessing us with your presence.
Well, I don't know about that, Jake, but I love your show, and it's the best, and hopefully it keeps on growing and growing and growing.
I got my eye on you. Jake, make me full screen. It's fireball whiskey time. David motherfucking T.
And now, back to the Jake Asman Show. Take it away, Jake.
I don't think Beast knows he's on.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you enter the raffle before it's too late. Signed Joe Klecko helmet is up for grabs. Now, thank you to Oscar for interpreting this super chat from Peter Castro. Oscar, nice enough to interpret it because he speaks Castro. He says, Glenn is done. JJ is better than McDonald's. Glenn took a running QB and made him a pocket passer. He totally sucks. Get him out of here. So Peter Castro would like to see a coaching change. I know Mike Florio could say what he said. I don't see it. I don't think what he's going to do it.
Weed, this is for you.
Oh, shit.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have a short clip I would like to play, and then who's ready for a little show and chill? All right, because that's what's coming up. But first, I present to you Drunk Sean. More of your calls right now. This guy is a loose cannon.
I'm really going to try to tone it down tonight. Psych! About the yearbook for 98. Aaron Glenn.
DS.
So,
this call is going into the toilet like that football he dropped a few weeks ago. What? No, false.
This is what you do, man. I'm trying to make a good call. Then you bring up these idiotic guys. Dude, if I was in your face, you wouldn't say shit.
Frank called you an angry drunk.
And you guys want to, thrash me.
Don't take the chat overly serious. They're trying to troll you to get you riled up. Sean, stop crying. Now I'll definitely tell you that to your face.
He wouldn't.
Dick
I guarantee
says,
you wouldn't.
Yes, we would talk to you like that. Gary says they're all P words. Don't take it to heart. How about the fact that the guy that called you a midwit is coming to your defense?
Thank you, nitwit guy.
We're all now dumber for listening to this. How do you think
Jake,
this call went?
Jake, man, I like you, but you can, be problematic in my life.
3 minutes of shoving a football in a toilet was more entertaining than 10 minutes of whining.
Because you want to make me look like a dumbass. Like I'm, like Beast.
Whoa.
And make me
What
feel
has
like
Beast done? Why are you taking a shot at Beast?
Because you want to make me look like a sideshow freak.
You make yourself look like a jackass. I don't have to do that.
Beast is a clown in itself.
Shut your trap. Look, Asperger.
Dude, you live with your mom.
Shut up, bitch, when I speak. 1987's calling for their glasses back.
This is what Jake wants. Jake is feeding off it. You know why? Because he's getting more lucrative
I want more
callers.
bitches like you.
I like your game, Jake.
Go change your tampons, by the way.
Did you get enough airtime today? Are you satisfied?
You're a clown, bro. You're a clown.
You just made me $2. Nate says, thanks for the Sean.
I know. You're making me seem like I'm a sideshow clown, and I'm not.
Do that on your own. I just answer your calls.
You're the ringleader.
Well, it's called the Jake Asman Show. So, yes, by the nature of the title, I am the host of the show.
If you want to talk to me one-on-one, I'll meet you on the boat.
I really don't want to talk to you one-on-one. I think the platform we have here is more than adequate.
Because you're afraid. You're scared. You little redhead bitch.
Your drunk ass calling into a talk show? I'm afraid of you? No, Sean. We'll see you later, buddy. Hope your life improves. You miserable piece of crap. So apparently Sean's not calling back in because he's too busy putting his football in the toilet again or something. This was just sent to me by Sean. If you get done with the football in the toilet, please call in.
I don't hate you, Jake.
It sounds like you do. You've been ripping me in all your comments here.
Because I'm disturbed how things went. When people drink, you know what results of.
Beast Breaker wrote in, shut up, Sean. Go play with your tampons. Are you blaming me for your drunkenness? Yankees Rock wants to know. Have you thought about not calling into the show if the chat triggers you, Sean?
You kind of trigger me.
I trigger you?
Jake, I like you, man. It's about making money. Let's be real. I'm not stupid, Jake. Let me go back to incognito mode. I'm smart. I'm not stupid like half your audience.
This guy is a severe alcoholic.
Your problems are my problems.
My problems have nothing to do with you. So stick that 98 yearbook up your ass and stop blaming me for your problems.
My girlfriend even said, you watch so much Jake Asman, I had Jake in my dreams.
You're dreaming about me, Sean?
For real. I love you, Jake. I'm just mad at the whole life agenda.
If you called in sober, I bet they wouldn't make fun of you as much because you wouldn't be saying outlandish things.
Sober? I'm boring. Yes. Yeah, like the guy with the half.
Did you just call David T boring?
He is boring.
I think he's joyful. How dare you go after David T? Well, when it became clear that he was talking about David T, we will not stand for such a thing.
You know what, Jake?
Yes, Sean.
This is how I feel right now. Fuck you. I'm out. Bitches. Fuck you.
Anything else, Sean? Sean, my advice to you would be put the bottle down, you drunk fuck. What a moment in time. Haven't heard from Sean since. I give him credit. Maybe he put the bottle down and checked himself into rehab. We got a super chat here from Matt L. Jake, I hold in my hand a Joe Namath signed football. Christmas came early. Hey, congrats, Matt. I'm glad the Namath ball arrived safely. Put that in a great spot. That's legendary memorabilia right there. Can't wait for my Klecko jersey. Merry Christmas and happy Hanukkah. Shout out to you, Matt. Really appreciate your support on the channel. And I'm glad that the raffle prize, the Namath signed ball, made it there. And I know your Klecko jersey will be there too. So good luck. Peg and Artie, they want to win a Klecko signed helmet. They just gifted a channel membership. They're in the raffle for 5. All right, home stretch of our show. We tried to go to this, or I mentioned we would go to this guy earlier, and guess what? Now it is time. Gator says, I think Big Cho might need an intro.
Big Cho. Yeah, it's nice. I like my recliner. No, I just called to check in. Big Cho. I don't like all those wrinkles on my head. I don't have that many wrinkles. We're talking about Big Cho. My implants are coming in 3 months.
The Kardashian ones?
I put the jet gear on for you. Been running some errands early. Came home just chilling. Big Cho. Jake.
Big Cho.
Big Cho. How you doing, man?
I'm good, Cho. How are you feeling?
I'm still healing up, a little sore still, but things are getting better. Nerve pain's gone, which is a plus.
We're talking about Big Cho.
So hopefully I go see the doctor again on January 15th. I'm hoping to get cleared to go back on the court.
Big Cho.
Excellent news, Big Cho.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I like the jet gear.
Oh, appreciate them. Always representing, man. Always. I went out to, I see my oncologist, which is, if people don't know, your cancer doctor. I saw him Tuesday. I see him once a year. And I was getting a lot of compliments on my jet gear.
We're talking about Big Cho.
You give him a jet chant when you were there, Big Cho?
I actually did. Jets, 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 Jets.
Did it sound like that?
No, I wasn't that loud.
Oh, okay.
Since it was in the doctor's office, I had to chill a little bit.
Do they know they were chilling with Big Cho?
Oh, no, I don't think so.
A great call on the radio show on, I think it was Sunday, Big Cho.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime to support you, man.
I appreciate it. I got a lot of radio coming up. Started next week, holiday season.
Or let me know if you get time, because I forget. My short-term memory is not too good. Shoot me an email of your schedule.
I'll send you the full rundown.
Okay, that way I'll give you a call. You'll be on Sunday for sure, though, right? Your regular time?
That's right. Sunday, I will definitely be on.
And the best time to call is between 8 and 9?
Correct. That's when I'm solo.
Okay. I'll try to set my alarm. Try to set my alarm so I can call you. Big Joe! Hey, as far as firing Aaron Glenn, I think we should give him another year.
I think he's going to get another year, Big Joe.
I think he should get another one. I think he should keep the I like the offensive coordinator. I think he'll be able to work well with the new quarterback. I think he needs to get another defensive coordinator.
Big Joe.
But in saying that, I wouldn't mind, even though he hires a new DC, if he ends up taking over the defense and calling the plays like the head coach of the Texans does. Big Joe.
I do think if Glenn wanted to take over play calling for his defense, it would make sense. The other top coaches in the league that are defensive minded all do it. So that to me would make sense. Doesn't sound like that's going to happen though.
Why do you say you don't think it'll happen?
Because I think he's going to hire a DC and continue to try and take the approach of I'm the CEO coach of the whole team type of thing.
I don't know.
We're talking about Big Joe.
I don't like that. I think he should hire a DC to get feedback from him and another voice in the room. But I do believe he should call the plays since he's supposed to be the expert on the defensive side of the ball.
Would you want to be the DC?
Nah, I'm a big fan of football. I love football. I love college football. I love pro football. I love watching it, but my main game is basketball. So
Hey, what do you think of the Knicks becoming NBA Cup champions?
Yeah, it was nice, man. I like the Knicks and I like the Hornets.
The Knicks like you, Big Joe.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind working for them. I'd take a job with them.
We're talking about Big Joe.
Let me call up James Dolan, see if we can make it happen.
You need to. Hey, I've never heard anything back from what's his face? Mad Max.
Well, he called in earlier. Next time I could get you two on the line together, we'll make it happen.
All right. That sounds good.
Big Joe.
We're doing I was reading the chat. We're doing pretty good in basketball. I think we're 2-1 in the conference and 5-2 overall. We got a game tonight. I was glad you got me in early because I'm gonna have to get off here. We got a game at 7. I have to stat live tonight off of Flow Sports.
Is it true the team is playing inspired ball in honor of you, Big Joe?
I don't know about that. I tend to be likable
and handsome.
Well, I appreciate that. You see, I got the hat working today.
Oh yeah.
I've got probably 4 or 5 different hats, like beanie hats or straight skull hats. I don't have a baseball hat though. I need to get an Asmaniac hat. You got any good looking hats? Ho, 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 big cho, cho, cho.
Big Joe, I'd love to send you a winter hat. It would be my treat.
Oh, you don't have to do that.
I'd love to. On my website, we have a ton of winter beanies. I'd love to send you one.
Yeah, that's up to you. I'm not asking for one.
Pick one you like, and I'm going to send you one, all right?
You sure?
Oh, I'd love to, Big Joe. I'd love to see you rock it on the show.
Oh, I definitely will. Most definitely. Definitely rock the Asmaniac hat on the show. Hey, now let me ask you a question. When you do the radio up in New York, do you ever wear Asmaniac stuff? I know they can't see you, but do you ever rock the Asmaniac stuff when you're on live?
All the time, yeah. Sometimes they can see me if it's during the week and we're on YouTube. But on the weekends, the show is not on YouTube. So it depends on the time slot I'm doing.
Okay. No, that's cool. You still look like working with your man from 9 to 12?
Oh, yeah.
You guys have different takes, though. I like that.
We argue, but that's part of it.
But you guys get along pretty good?
Yeah, I have no issue with Mike as a person. We don't see the Jets the same way, but that's okay.
Right. He used to be the what, GM of the Jets?
He did, and he also assisted Woody Johnson in hiring Aaron Glenn, so he's got some significant stake in the game.
So what's his take as far as giving Glenn another shot?
I'm sure he's going to say absolutely. I haven't asked him that. Well, I'm sure we'll talk more about it on Sunday.
Okay. Well, I'll probably call before 9, but if I happen to call when he's on, I might ask him that.
Absolutely.
That
All
way,
right, Big Joe.
that way
Well,
we
do me a favor. Send me that
Yeah.
email with the hat you want, and I'll get it ordered. All right.
What? Okay, I will. What, Jake? So you have to go to get to your store. How do you get to your store? You have to go to Google.
JakeAsman.com.
JakeAsman.com. Okay, and it'll take you to your store.
Yes, sir.
JETS Jets.
It's that easy, Big Joe. It is that easy. Ladies and gentlemen, home stretch here. First, we shout out Stardust Raven, or is it Stardusted Raven? I don't know. Either way, they became a channel member and then sent the super chat, said Peg and Artie really need the helmet. Well, are you donating your entries here to Peg and Artie? Stardusted Raven? Either way, I got you down. You decide what you do with the Klecko autographed helmet. Should you be the winner? 2 calls left. Derek and then Black Gypsy on Better Wi-Fi will close this out. What's up, Derek?
Hey, Jake. What's going on, brother?
What's up, dude?
Not much. Just chilling. I just had a couple takes. First on the Florio situation. In a hypothetical situation, say the Jets lose their final 3 games by 14 or more points. Would you think Woody be more prone to firing Aaron Glenn? How would you feel about that?
Would Woody be more prone, or would I be?
Both, I guess.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm on board with doing it now if they wanted to do it. I don't think there's anything I've seen from Glenn. It's like we have to keep him. Like, no, man, like you're gonna go quarterback. I rather an offensive coach than Aaron Glenn, but I don't think it's realistic for them to do it. That said, if they get destroyed over the next 3, I guess it would open the door for Woody to reconsider. But I'm not convinced even that would do it.
Okay. Hypothetically, that does happen. Me and you thinking very similar. I would definitely be okay with it. I just haven't seen enough improvement really just to, I don't know, the last couple of weeks have been a mess. I think if you really feel like, especially if our defense gives up like 14 or more, and it's proven that he's actually playing the calls, I think maybe Woody might be prone if we just get obliterated the last 3 weeks. A couple coaches I would like hiring. I would love Mike McCarthy or Cliff. And I think this is actually a pretty attractive job with our draft capital. And maybe Cliff, knowing or not having the greatest year with the Commanders, you know, he might be a little bit more prone with knowing that we're taking a quarterback if he gets to maybe hand pick one, should Woody fire AG. What I was just kind of wondering how you feel about Cliff or Big Mike McCarthy, or which one you'd like more if hypothetically that were to happen.
I'd prefer McCarthy, but I'm not opposed to either. Experience, offensive side of the ball. I think Cliff deserves a second chance. He wasn't a total disaster with Arizona. They made the playoffs one year with Kyler. And it turns out Kyler's not that good, and Kyler hasn't been good since Cliff left. Yeah. So maybe he should get some more credit for that. Again, I don't think it's going to happen, but I would take either. And if they're going to go the first time route, I'd be cool with Josh McCown getting the opportunity. I would be cool with Joe Brady potentially. I know it hasn't been great necessarily for him this year with the Bills, but he's still a guy I'd be intrigued by. Like, it has to be an offensive guy if they're going to go the first time route, but I prefer experience again.
Yeah, with Big Mike. Yeah, 7-0 Cliff with the Cardinals that year. Absolutely insane. I would definitely be a fan of both of those. Yeah,
I don't think he's getting fired though. I hate even like doing this because like I think Jet fans think he's gonna get fired. You're gonna get your hopes up, man. Like I don't see Woody making that move.
Yeah, nobody should definitely get their hopes up. Heck yeah, I appreciate you taking my call. Big Joe, it's good seeing you. I hope you are well, and I hope you and the rest of the Asmaniacs have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday, guys. Congrats on your next 2, brother.
Derek, good call. Well done. Shout out to the Big Joe. Star-Dusted Raven says, hey, Jake, it's Star-Dusted Raven. Hell yeah. Peter says Glenn's worse than Saleh. I mean, there's no dispute on that so far. Now, look, Saleh was bad his first year too, but I would argue Saleh's roster was infinitely worse than what Glenn is working with. Not even close, right? Like Saleh's quarterback was rookie year Zach Wilson. Their best players on defense were who? Quinnen and C.J. Mosley coming off the COVID year where he didn't play. Way more talent on this defense going in. Offensive line-wise, not even close. Receivers, not even close. Like Saleh's first year, they sucked talent-wise. They were coming off a 2-win season. Well, the Jets were coming off a 5-win season this past year. Let's be real. They had far more talent than 5 wins. We lauded the talent and lauded Glenn's ability to take the team that had talent and coach them better. So it's a problem. Shout out to Robin Boy, who's in the raffle for one. All right. I said Black Gypsy was going to close, but you know what? This guy doesn't call in, and when he does, it's usually memorable. So I'm going to go to him, and then Black Gypsy will close us out here. Jay Quest is on the line. Hello, Jay Quest.
What's up, Jake? How are you? Can you hear me?
See, I bumped you right to the top of the line, Jay Quest. This better be good.
Nah, dude. I got to call you out on something, and you know I love you. So I saw your tweet yesterday. You know, I think be a Buffalo Jet fan wrote, scenario where we don't get a quarterback, and you wrote, it's gonna be a nightmare, right? If it doesn't happen in the first round, let's say. Well, like we got
his scenario was Tanner McKee and use the picks and don't take a quarterback or something like
because
that.
Jake, the problem is the Raiders and Cleveland are probably picking ahead of us. Like I know we're talking about these trade scenarios, they're probably not happening, dude. You know, like I just don't think they're gonna happen. Like we're not gonna move up because the Raiders are gonna have that first pick. I don't want to trade all our picks away.
What if the Giants had the first pick or the Titans had the first pick?
And that's different, right? Like if the Giants have the pick, but I'm not trading the whole, our first, the Colts first, the second round, the other second round. I'm not trading a bolt load to like move up 2 spots, Jake. I mean, personally, they're going to do whatever they want to do, right? And we have no say. We want to, but I don't want to trade all those picks away personally. I mean, like, what are you willing to give up to move 2 spots? Like, what's your, like, most you'll give up? For going to 3 to 1.
Colts pick in the second rounder?
Right. I mean, that's
or one of my 2027 first rounders and one of my 2-2s this year. Do it in reverse.
So much.
Depends where I'm picking.
I just don't think the Giants are getting that first. What's up?
It depends where I'm moving up to.
Sorry?
And by the way, Dante Moore's available.
No, I agree.
I'm good with him too. So it's going to depend on how many available quarterbacks there are.
I know, and it's like the whole thing is like even if like the Giants and Raiders get to 3 wins, the strength of schedule is so close between the 3 of those teams. Like it can go either way. Like I'm praying. I'm not rooting for losses, but I am. Like I want that first pick overall, so we don't have to trade our picks and get our quarterback.
I'm losing you, Jay Quest, with your internet. We need a quarterback, man. Like obviously, I'm not trading away 5 1s to move up, but you got to get a quarterback. And by the way, the Jets would be in front of Vegas based on strength of schedule, right? Vegas strength of schedule right now is 548. The Jets right now is 538. They'd be in front of Vegas if they finish tied. We need the Raiders to win a game. They play the Giants and they play the Chiefs without Mahomes. That's probably our best chance. They're not beating the Texans this week. Geno Smith's probably going to start against that defense. Good luck. And I'm in the semifinals in my fantasy football league, and I have the Texans defense. So I could use some Geno Smith pick sixes in that one. All right. Closer is on the line. Hopefully we can get him in, and then we'll spin the wheel for the signed Joe Klecko helmet. It's Black Gypsy.
I'm Black Gypsy. I'm here to set all you delusional Jets fans straight. Your takes make me wanna punch you in the face. Or kick you in the crotch. When this team sucks, they suck. I'm Black Gypsy. I'm Black Gypsy. I'm Black Gypsy. I'm Black Gypsy.
As maniacs, Jake.
Mr. Gypsy.
Gypsy Moonshell says hi as maniacs and Jake.
Love it. Love it. Is that your significant other?
It is. That is my wife.
I love it.
So everybody needs to come to terms with this. From listening to this today, this is the conclusion I made. Glenn is not going anywhere. We're in for this for another probably 2 years. Everyone's critique is valid in a lot of ways, but we have to call a spade a spade. And that's what I appreciate about the show. You get the opportunity to call a spade a spade. He's really sucked this year. This is one of the worst head coaches I've ever seen. And what makes it worse, I'm old school like that. I like seeing a head coach with that play sheet over his mouth. I like seeing him move back and forth and talking. Watching us lose and seeing AG just with the face just pisses me off. It just makes it worse because he's not doing anything. And the thing that bothers me about this whole thing is, like, I'm a mechanic, right? If I work at a shop and I see a whole bunch of other mechanics just making mistake after mistake after mistake, I'm going to point it out to him. Hey, guy, you need to do this. You need to do that. This is how you do this. This is how you do that. Like,
Uh-oh. 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 All right. All right. Damn. The JJ internet got the best of Black Gypsy there. The Ricky NY internet got the best of Gypsy. I agree with his point, though. Like, Aaron Glenn, you're a problem solver. You waited this long to do something about your shit defense? And we know he wasn't doing anything about it because he said, if we want to take Aaron Glenn at face value, in his own words, we're running the Wilkes system. Again, the defense is unacceptable for a defensive coach. And it says on this graphic here from NBC, takeaways 3. No, it's 2. 1 was on special teams, right? The muff punt in the Falcons game. Poochie says, stop hating on AJ. Is it hating it or calling it how it is? He's done a shit job. So we're not allowed to talk about that? He's good for 3 years? No, he's not. If Aaron Glenn finishes 3-14 and he has another terrible season next year, he's not getting a 3rd year. Get lost, clown.
You clown-sucking douchebag.
Apparently, it's hating to be critical of a bad coach. I'm tired of losing, man. I really am. Again, I don't think he's getting fired, but I'm not going to sit here and act like he's done a good job. Like, can he improve? Absolutely. He wouldn't be the first coach that had a terrible year 1, but in Jet history, we haven't seen this. Not in year 1. Again, I don't think he's getting fired. I don't think what he's going to do it, but I understand why Jet fans say they want him fired. I'm not going to sit here and, like, cape for the guy. He hasn't done a good job. Gerard Mayo got fired. Why can't Aaron Glenn? Urban Meyer got fired. Nate Hackett got fired. Aaron Glenn's no different than any of them right now. He's not. Derek, the Jet fan, who had a good call before, is in the raffle for 1. Cisco says, name me a worse coach than Glenn. I bet you can't name one. In the league right now, I mean, Dable was worse this year. He got fired, though. Callahan was worse. He got fired. Jeff said it earlier, right? When he was on the show with us. The only coach that's probably worse right now that hasn't been fired is Pete Carroll. He's been horrific. Jet Salah only had 5 games, was never given a true chance. That's also not true, though. Salah was in his 4th year. Now, should he have been fired at 2-3 last year? With hindsight, absolutely not. Obrick wasn't ready. I thought he was, and obviously that blew up in our face, and Woody clearly made a mistake there. He should know better. But, again, I don't think Salah wasn't given a fair opportunity. I mean, you know how rare it is to have 3 straight losing seasons and go into your 4th year still employed? That doesn't happen in the NFL. It just doesn't. All right, last chance to enter the Klecko signed helmet raffle because we are about to spin the wheel of champions. So, with that, we say hello to our master of ceremony, Michael Blubber.
You clown-sucking douchebag. Those numbers that I saw, very, very bad. F. Failure. Now, it's time to spin the wheel of champions.
It's time to announce the winners of the weekly Asmaniac raffle. Let's spin the Jake Asman Show Wheel of Champions and find out which Asmaniac is winning an epic prize.
Look, some days we have prizes, and then some days we have epic prizes. Like this. Signed helmet by one of the GOATs, Joe Klecko, number 73 on the field. Number 1 in your hearts. Good luck to everyone. If you entered on the morning show or this show, your entries are accounted for. Only one Asmaniac can win. If you win, you have to email me, asmanjake@gmail.com, your name and address, so I know where to send it to. Good luck, and again, you're automatically entered in the weekly raffle when you enter any daily raffle. Thank you all for your support. The show, again, would not be possible without you. Cannot say that enough. Here we go. one spin to determine the winner. And the winner is how about this? Rick Kent is the winner. The great Rick Kent hit it.
Time to lose some games, bitches. You guys should be pros at this. They don't give out trophies for 4 or 5 wins.
But we give out signed helmets. Rick Kent, your winner of the autographed Joe Klecko helmet. Rick, congratulations. Well deserved. Thank you for all your support. And this will look great in the Rick Kent Man Cave. That does it for me. We are back tomorrow. There's a chance the show might start in the 9 a.m. hour. I'm on standby for emergency radio. So I got to check in with Matt O'Leary and potentially move up the start time for the show in the 9 a.m. hour. But if not, either 9 or 10, we're live with Matt in his weekly spot on the show. So I'm looking forward to getting his thoughts and everything going on with the New York Jets. Again, I love all of you. Thank you for watching. JETS, 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 Jets.
The biggest mistake they made is not firing this whole crew of shitheads before the season started. The coaches can't make decisions. They don't correct anything. I mean, this is a joke.
Oh, hi. Jake wants me to ask you to click on the like button.
That's right, Lane. And if they don't subscribe to the Jake Asman Show, this team may never win another game. Let's go, Jets.